Warm greetings to you all. I'm Lieutenant Dr. Ajanta Parthasarathi, Associate NCC Officer of Sri SRNM College, Tamil Nadu. I'm serving for 210 Girls Battalion NCC Madurai. This video we are going to see about hygiene and sanitation. Hygiene and sanitation are fields of medical science which aim to preserve and improve the health of the individual and of the community as a whole. Its study is aimed at making the cadets aware of the many preventable health hazards and to enable them to look after themselves and their community most efficiently. It seeks to develop in them the concepts of healthy living. This field has nothing to do with religion or social customs, but it is simply based on scientific requirements. Personal hygiene involves all aspects of the health of an individual. Responsibility for the maintenance of personal health therefore lies with the individual. Every person must remain in perfect physical, mental, and social health. Only then he can serve the community and the country well. Personal hygiene. Maintenance of personal hygiene is very important in preventing disease. It deals with the practices that help in the maintenance and the promotion of a person's health. Personal hygiene helps to maintain a good and clean physique, to maintain good muscle strength, to maintain clean mouth and teeth, to maintain resistance, to prevent infection. The main components of personal hygiene are sleep. Sleep means the periodical rest of both body and mind, and it is extremely essential for a healthy body. The amount of sleep one requires varies with individual age. The average requirement of sleep is about 7 to 8 hours a day. Bathing, keeping the skin clean and in healthy condition is essential for good health. A bath with a mild soap with warm water in winters and cool water in summers are essential for body cleaning. While bathing, all parts of the body, including folds in the skin, must be cleaned well. After the bath, the body must be dried properly, including the folds in the skin, as wetness or dampness will lead to cuts or fungal infection. Eating and drinking. Properly cooked food with its full nutrition value is essential for and beneficial for good health. Eat slowly and chew well. Do not swallow hastily. Drink plenty of water between meals and avoid strenuous exercise after a heavy meal. Care and cleanliness of skin, hair, and teeth. Our skin keeps on secreting sweat, and hence it is necessary to keep it clean through bathing and by removing dust and dirt. Regular changing and cleaning of clothing is essential to keep the body fit. Digestive and other disorders take place when decayed teeth and unhealthy gums bleed, giving foul smell in the mouth. Teeth should be regularly brushed after the last meal at night and early in the morning. Insufficient vitamin C and D are the cause of dental decay. Exercise. Organized games and physical exercise are necessary for proper development of the body and mind. Now let's see about water supply and the methods of purifying it. What are the sources of water supply? The main sources are rainwater, surface water, underground streams. Rainwater. Most of the fresh water on earth comes from rains. However, most of this water is not fit for consumption due to impurities of the atmosphere. Surface water. Surface water is found mainly in rivers and streams or lakes. This water is unfit for human consumption without treatment due to discharge of various types of waste into it. Underground streams. Borewells are a good source of potable water supply. However, even these need to be protected from contamination. Now let's see some methods of purifying water. Safe drinking water comes only from an authorized source. Purification provides good and safe water by eliminating the suspended matter, harmful salts in solution, bad taste or smell, undesirable colors and germs. The methods to be used for water purification are boiling and filtering water, clarification, sterilization, pinking, precipitation. Now let's see some of the hygienes. Food. Food hygiene. Food is a potential source of infection and is liable to contamination by microorganisms at any point during its journey from the producer to the consumer. Prevention of contamination of food has to be observed from production to handling, distribution, and serving. Milk hygiene. Milk is an efficient vehicle for many disease organisms. Contamination of milk may be due to infected animal, human handler, or environmental factors. Meat hygiene. The word meat includes various tissues of animal origin. The diseases which may be transmitted through meat are tapeworm infestation and bacterial infections like anthrax, tuberculosis, or food poisoning. The animal intended for slaughter must be subjected to proper ante-mortem and post-mortem inspection. Good meat should neither be pale pink nor deep purple, nor should it be slimy. Good meat should be elastic to touch and should have agreeable color. Fish hygiene. Fish for human consumption should be fresh. In fresh fish, the gills are bright red and the eyes are clear and prominent. Consumption of contaminated fish may give rise to fish poisoning, egg hygiene. Through the majority of freshly laid eggs are sterile inside, the eggshell may become contaminated by fecal matter from the hen. The eggs must be properly washed before cooking. Fruits and vegetable hygiene. Fruits and vegetables are an important source for the spread of pathogenic organisms, protozoan and helminths. Fruits and vegetables consumed raw must be washed well before eating. Then, hygiene of eating places. Eating places should not be located near filthy places, open drains, animal sheds, manure or soakage pits, and other such places. Floors should be easy to clean and should be preferably tiled. Rooms for storage of food should be well ventilated, insect and rat, and should have adequate lighting. Perishable and non-perishable items should be kept separately. Furniture should be strong and easy to clean. Refuse should be collected in covered bins and removed regularly. Water supply should be independent, adequate, and safe. Proper place for cleaning of utensils should be provided. Finally, the hygiene of food handlers. Complete medical examination of food handlers must be done at the time of employment. Regular health checkups should be done. Education of food handlers should be regularly educated on health and hygiene aspects. They should be constantly reminded about hand washing, trimming of nails, covering of hair, wearing of overalls, and covering mouth while coughing and sneezing during cooking. The next part is about sanitation. Sanitation means keeping the living area and its surroundings neat and clean. This involves removal of waste products and refuses. Some of the waste products are human excreta like feces and urine, stable litter, horses and cow dung, dry refuse and garbage, household, municipality, industrial and agriculture. Liquid waste, household sewage, municipal and industrial effluent, offensive trade waste, dead animals, carcasses, and offal of slaughtered animals. We have some sources of refuse. Street refuse. Refuse that is collected by street cleansing service or scavenging is called street refuse. Market refuse. Refuse that collected from markets. Stable litter. It contains mainly animal dropping and leftover animal feeds. Industrial refuse comprises of a wide variety of waste. Domestic refuse. The domestic refuse consists of ashes, rubbish, and garbage. The disposal of waste products or refuse. Household refuse. Special refuse. This is from stables and cowsheds. It is collected in carts and taken to disposal grant at frequent intervals. Street refuse. Covered dustbins should be placed at suitable intervals along the street, and all the sweeping should be dumped in it. It is then collected early morning in covered vans. Now let's see some methods to dispose refuse. Filling, controlled tipping, incineration, composting, manure pits, burial, sorting, breeze, softcore, and hardcore. Disposal of human waste. Proper disposal of human night soil or excreta are essential for prevention of various communicable diseases and also to prevent pollution or contamination of soil, water, or food. Various methods are available for disposal of human waste or excreta. As per the type of area, that is, area with a proper sewage and areas without proper sewage. Sewered areas. The latrines used in such areas are mainly the flush latrines. It implies that ample supply of water is available to flush the night soil away. It is simple and hygienic. Unsewered area. There are various types latrines for such areas, like domestic latrines, borehole latrine, dug well, and water sieve. Now we will see something about camp latrines. Deep trench, shallow trench, urinals. Soakage pit. Disposal of garbage. Disposal of solid refuse like kitchen garbage, bones, etc. can be done by burial or burning. Disposal of sewage. Proper disposal and treatment of sewage has assumed greater importance today. The disposal of sewage involves treatments like screening, chambering, primary sedimentation, trickling filter, activated sludge process, sludge digestion, disposal of effluent, disposal of sewage. The disposal of sewage can be done through sea outfall, river outfall, land treatment, and oxidation pond. Hygiene and sanitation are two sides of a coin, which must be ensured together for best results. These are simple steps, if taken regularly and correctly, can be beneficial to both individuals and community. Investing of time and effort in hygiene and sanitation can lead to saving of lives. Thank you.